Hello and welcome, everyone. It's great to be back for our 20th episode. I'm Jodie Fielden and I'm joined with my work wife, bestie, and business partner, Adrienne Varga. During these podcasts, we share with you how you can leverage your passion into profit. Whether you're looking to launch into the next phase, take time away from the floor, or you're looking to sell your business and cash out your investment, you're in the right place because we've just about done it all. And we're here to share with you that you can too, because it's time to believe your business can be everything you ever wanted.
Absolutely, that's right. And hi, everyone. Welcome back. And it is so exciting because this is our 20th episode. So we are recording our 20th episode.
I can't believe it. It's 20 already.
Yeah, I know. I can't have, I hardly can believe it. And I was just looking at the stats yesterday, and we have listeners not only here in Australia, but we also have the UK, USA, and some listeners are in Asia. So, welcome everyone. And since we are at number 20, and we are global, we wanted to talk about something that has a common theme at the moment with a lot of business owners. And there are a lot of concern about things getting quiet and people are not spending money and everyone is feeling the pinch.
I know it is a big topic at the moment. Especially in New Zealand. Last week, my dad called me because he lives there, and to let me know that they just announced a recession, and so he was rushing down to buy some supplies because he was like, I don't know how much the prices are going to go up. Like, okay, Dad, relax a bit, and because so it got me reading because I haven't sort of read a lot of the financial stuff in the past couple of months. We've been so busy with like our retreat and all that kind of stuff. So I decided to do a little bit of a nosedive and a deep dive through, and I looked at Forbes and a few of the other publications. And I didn't realize, but Britain went into recession officially at the end of last year. And we know the US has an election coming up. They've all started their rounds, I guess you call it. Our US listeners will be able to correct me if where I'm wrong there. But Australia, a lot of Australians have been worrying, talking about when they're going to announce a recession. So I did a little bit of a deep dive, and based on numbers, not anything that's been announced, but these are the market numbers that we've actually been in recession since late last year as well. It just hasn't been announced. Yeah. So, and I think that word recession is really scary for people because a lot of business owners, they haven't been through a recession before. They've come through COVID and they've come through, mostly not too scathed. But these kind of things on top of like going through COVID and battling like the cost of living, that's across all the continents, that cost of living. So what I thought that we'd talk about is that there is good news in amongst all the talk of recessions, elections and all that. Recessions end, elections take place, and things begin to swim back to normal in a certain amount of time, like no one can say, but it's usually sort of 6 months, 8 months. It kind of, the worst of it starts to settle down and people keep moving forward. But I think this will be the perfect time for us to be talking about what you can do. And you've done a lot of focus on this with the clients that you work with and new people that, have come to you and, they're really struggling. So I thought we might get you to start talking about, some of the good things that can happen.
Yeah, and there is actually a lot of good things what can happen. And you can navigate businesses right through these hard times. And that's absolutely true that, it can be scary, but once you have a plan, and once you have an idea about where you want to go, and what you are going to use the time, which is seemingly, less client, you have more time, and what to do with that time, then essentially you can actually move the needles and move your business to the right direction. And I could say, you just need to know what to do as a business owner to get through this hard time, and also get yourself into a position that when these times do come, because if there is one thing history has shown us, is that it ebbs and flows in both directions. So today we thought we could talk about these 5 things what you just mentioned, and what you can do as a business owner to take this quiet time to work on your business and its foundations.
Yeah. So I think this is where we kind of look at historically what clients were doing, save for COVID, because everyone that's fresh in people's mind. Whereas the GFC and things like that, from when I owned the business, there may not be as many business owners that are familiar with that. So with COVID, when everyone was starting to panic, the biggest thing that Audrey was saying to people was slow down, calm down, and let's make a list of the things that matter and that you can do. Because I think, business owners are always saying like they're too busy, they don't have time, and all these things. So now's the time. If you find that you don't have enough clients coming in and you're seeing a bit of a turn down in the business, then this is the time for you to pull out these 5 things. And it doesn't matter whether it's now or in 10 years' time, these 5 things are going to be the things that get the needle moving again. So I think we might start with, Audrey, we might start with the first one, which is the first thing that you need to do.
Yes, first, before we get there, just one thing of what I wanted to quickly say, it all comes back to mindset. How you're going to navigate through is about how you think about it. And I would like to invite you to think about quiet times as a gift for yourself. As a gift for yourself, just like you said, Jodie, to step back, breathe, and write a list and think about it. What are those things what you never have time to do? And you always wish that you would have time to do it, because if you would have time to do it, your business would look different. So this is the right time, when you have half a day, when you don't have clients booked in, that take that time and think about it. All right, so I've got this gift. Now I can work on certain things. Because, if we think about what we are thinking about or what we are focusing on, we will attract. Just think about it. If you're focusing on fear and losing your business and not having enough clients, what you're going to get, you're going to attract fear, not having enough clients, losing clients. But if you put your focus on growth and working on your business, then that's a positive thing, that's a positive direction, and it cannot go anywhere else, just into positive directions. So yes, the first thing is, yeah.
Before you say that, just in you saying that about focusing on the positives and not the negatives, and a lot of people go, that isn't real. Like, I don't see how that works. It's not real. It is real, because I'll give you an example. The racing car drivers. So when I was learning to drive in a paddock, and I was taught, if you focus on that tree and you are going too fast and you lose control and all you're doing is looking at that tree, you're going to end up in that tree 100%. Whereas if you're focusing over onto the spare bit of paddock, you're actually going to end up over there, because your body is going to, you have all these natural responses and muscle memory, and you will head that way. So focusing on the positives. And I know when we say, oh, it's a gift, all right, not all gifts are wanted. Like some gifts you really wish you weren't given. Okay, so it's okay to get hooey gift, but it's a gift all the same.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And look, it's everything is. I always think, like everything can be good and bad, yeah. But it's really depending on me how I choose to see it. And again, it goes back to choice, because that's our choice. Like some people, they can make like lemonade out of lemons. Lots of lemons. And some people, they just see like the hurdle or the hurdle to having those lots of lemons. What the hell am I going to do with these lemons? So same thing, lemons, and one people makes the most out of it, and the other one is focusing on what the hell am I going to do with it. It's exactly the same. It's mindset.
Yeah.
So really, I
All
think let's go to the 5 practical suggestions what we want to say.
right.
So let's start with the first one.
All right. So the first one is the most important, and the first thing that you should do is look at your financials. Get out the bank statement, get out your budget, grab out your price list, and start looking.
Yes, absolutely. So one thing is for sure, most of us really, when it comes to neglecting a part of our business, it's the under the surface part. We call, like we have the iceberg method, what we are teaching, and on the top of the iceberg, everyone is looking for the clients, how to attract clients, and on the bottom there are 7 layers which are actually going to make or break your business. And one of the first fundamental element is actually knowing your numbers and your finances and financial, like all the financial things what you can think about your business. And in quiet time, I think this is the best time when you're going to sit down and you start to figure it out, how much is costing me to keep my business open. When you have, say, your break even calculated, and it needs to be calculated, it's not just something that I think, like my break even is around $4,500. That's not going to help you to create a smart business. But like you want to look into the numbers very, very specifically, and find out when is that money when you are going to break even, and that needs to be reduced to an hourly break even. So when you have that, then you can look into your pricing, and also you want to look into how the money is coming into your business. What are your services which are profitable? What are the services which are not profitable? What are the area of your business? What are the more stronger area of your business? And you start there.
Yeah. And I think that's the one that everyone really avoids doing, is sitting down there and taking that deep dive. Because I know myself, when we do our budget, I avoid it because it's easier to keep my head in the sand and go, oh no, nothing's broken just yet. I haven't had any messages saying something's overdue. It's okay.
Yeah, and look, I can understand it's overwhelming. And when you are busy with clients, when you're stressed, when you're busy with your team, you don't have time to do that. But these are the main elements which are actually making your business. And the
Yeah.
reason you are busy being busy, because all these elements are not right in the business. So really, this time is the perfect time to sit down, print out your bank statement, highlight different costs, add them up, and then create your break even. Based on the break even, you will know how much money you need to make each hour when you are open, and then have a look how the money coming in your business. So if you are a studio owners, how many classes you have daily, which classes are profitable, which classes are not really profitable. Have a look at the statistics of teachers, which teachers are attracting the most clients, and which teachers are, need some help or need some training. Because if you run your KPI right, couple of numbers tells the whole history about your business. But if you don't have time to do that, you don't have any idea about your business. So this is the first thing I would suggest to anyone. Instead of focusing on fear, sit down and pull your numbers together and analyze your numbers. Read your business history out of those numbers.
That actually leads us into the second thing that we do when you're talking about which staff members are attracting what clients and how many. And that comes into the client journey as well. So
Yeah.
that's about how many clients you're attracting. Are you keeping them? What's their experience like when they're with you? What's your point of difference?
Yeah, when it comes to creating an outstanding client journey, we talked about this we talk about this quite often, because it is actually a very important part of your business to understand your clientele. First, you need to understand who you want to attract and how you're going to keep them, coming back to the business. And when it comes to client journey, it's extremely important because you need to think about client journey for new clients, but also client journey for existing clients. And I think it's very, very important for us to understand that part, how to get it right.
So the client journey is part of what you teach in the 7 layers with the iceberg method. But people always assume that the client journey begins when the person steps into the business, and it doesn't. The client journey encapsulates from the moment that they first think that they need your service, or that they're wondering about. So if you're Pilates, they're like, oh, my back hurts. What should I be doing for it? Like, who should I be seeing? Because the tablets aren't working. I need something else, kind of thing. Whereas salon or like a beauty clinician, the client journey for me the other day was that I was looking at Harper's skin and I'm like, oh, it's looking really red and inflamed. What sort of business, like what specialist do I need to get her to? Because I don't want to use this medication from the doctors. I want someone that's going to be an active treatment and really look after her. Oh, who should that be? Oh, yeah, Sarah, like it's. So I think you need to remember that that's part of when you're thinking about your client journey is all the way back from when they're first thinking that they might need you or being aware of needing you. And then the same with when the client journey ends, it never ends until they've left your business and told you don't contact me anymore. The client journey hasn't ended.
Yeah, and it's absolutely true. And like when it comes to finding the right business for what I need, there is really two ways. One is they are they're going to type in Google a couple of things, and then you hopefully going to come up because your SEO is right, you have a great website, or like a great information for Google to bring up your information for the person who's looking for similar services. Or the second one is word of mouth, or like friends requesting the right people for the right services. So you really need to think about it, that first step, like, am I Google searchable? Is my website is something which is doing the favor for me? Like, it's not just a pretty looking website, and no one really knows about my website unless I give my website link and people put the link in Google, and then it's going to come up. Because there is a quite big misconception, like when it comes to websites, we think, like a website is a good website when it looks good. And unfortunately, and you can talk about this a little bit more than me, it is not true, isn't it?
No, look, we're working with a couple of clients at the moment about their website, and they're that little bit more advanced where they're aware of what SEO and those kind of things, which if you don't know what it is, it's the wording on your website so that the analytics in things like Google and any of the search engines are able to tie what the person's typing in, looking for, to what you have on your website. And one salon that has an amazing social media following and everything, once we got onto the website, we didn't know where we were. There was no, there was pretty pictures, but there weren't any indicators on what's my next step. Oh, how can I book? You know, like what do they do? Who are they specialists in? You know, there's all these different things. So it's a really good time to sit down, have a look at your website as though you don't know what it is.
Yes, absolutely, and that's only just one part of the big puzzle. Like it's there are so many other elements when it comes to client journey, but really, just what you need to think about is where are you at the first contact point, and I think that's very important. And might your task, what you want to focus on, just to find out, just to do a little bit of a research. Like how websites are looking in your industry and which websites are attracting you or wordings on websites, and just think about it, like just do a little Google research, just put your salon or studio name, have a look, like where are you at, and try to think about, okay, so how can I nail this first part? And
And
yeah.
usually, I was going to say, usually that is go and have a look at it. And it's when you kind of need to step in and ask a professional to, you know, give you their feedback. But it is really important for you to be aware if your website is just a pretty image or it actually you need help with it. And a lot of salon owners make the mistake, though, of putting too much into their website if they haven't fixed the other parts of the client journey, which is, you know, like what clients are you losing? So I feel like, because I get really passionate about that technical side of it, I think it'd be really good for you to explain, you know, about I think it was one of our clients the other day, and she realized like how many new clients were coming in, but how many she weren't coming back.
Yes, absolutely. And that was a very, very big learning for the salon owner. And we already have the plan and it's already started to change. But if you don't monitor it, you don't know. So what happens suddenly, suddenly in the KPI, we could see a lot of clients not coming back. And then we went to analytics, we had a look all the team members and everything, and then we realized it went back to a new team member who they just employed around 6 months ago. And then we had a look at the numbers, and then we come up with a plan, with a review, and also with a training plan, and we started to work on it. And the very interesting thing about it, that this salon owner just sent me a Voxer yesterday, telling to me that it's amazing that just basically bringing awareness to this team member that this is going on, the team member already started to make changes because she wasn't aware of it.
Wow, isn't that amazing? Like that is so good. Like that's the best possible outcome, and that's the one that business owners never think will happen, right? They always think that it's going to turn into a big drama or conflict. And in fact, most of the time, like you said, people aren't aware of it. So just bringing that awareness to it, but having the time to sit down and have a look at it, you know, for the first time. And it's all about taking that time. And now, if you're a little bit quiet, it's the perfect time. All right. So the next one is actually, it's probably going to be what you're about to say, is team training and team development.
So what I wanted to say, I think it was about once you have the measurement, which is your KPI, measuring everything in your business, team members by team members, then it's really easy to find where the problem is. Then it's easy to find the solution for that problem. And it's really what you said, the positive way of looking at things. Yes, we have a problem here. We are losing clients. We need to address this, but you can address these kind of things in many, many different ways. And this is what we are teaching. We are teaching to actually be very strategic, very positive about it, and offering help for the person, and offering all the support what they need so they can improve. So it comes back to team training and team development, because obviously we need to figure it out what kind of training they need. And when it comes to team development, it's another big topic when we're thinking about team development, because it's multiple layers of when it comes to that subject.
Yeah, I even with that subject, there was someone today in one of the Facebook groups complaining about, because it's a bit quiet, but we're also short staffed, like very few people. There's a couple of businesses that they've got people lining up to work for, but that's not the majority. And there's all this negative behavior and stuff going on with the people that work for her, but she's too scared to say anything because she thinks it's going to blow up and she's going to lose the team members.
Yeah, but then I always say, but what if you don't address it? How far it will go, and it will come to an end. And if you don't address it, it's going to drag for long period of time. Your other team members going to suffer. You're going to suffer. Your clients are going to suffer. So, as a business owner or as business owners, one skill what we really need to develop is we need to embrace confrontation. I think it's very important to, whenever I have a problem, whenever I have a doubt, I need to talk through, I need to sit down and I need to address it. And again, the language is very important, because that's going to take you either this way or that way.
It is, and it's surprising the difference that it makes. But also, when you're looking at that development, now's a really good time to be having, when you've got the time with the fewer clients, you can put time into having meetings with each of your team members, and you can really focus on, discovering about, how can I help, sort of thing, and then mapping out a training plan, which then, gives them something to look forward to.
Yeah, and when it comes to one-on-one meetings, there is always a fear, when we introducing one-on-one meetings, because we don't know what to say. We don't know for how long it should go, and because you don't know, then when you try to do this meeting, you feel silly or you feel unprepared. So I always say, when I started my first one-on-one meetings, yes, my business mentor mentioned or told to me, what to talk about. But, in the beginning, you are not really that advanced. So I was saying to my team members, this is just as new for me, as new to you. So we're going to make mistakes. So let's just, take it, as our learning journey. And we will start somewhere, and I promise you we will learn and we will get into a better position there where we are today. And just start with basic. So firstly, you need numbers, you need the KPI, because you need to talk about performance. But in the same time, these are only factual data. And I always say, without me telling you, you are not doing this right, you are not doing that right, I like to teach my team members to read data out from that KPI, and they tell me what they see. And then I offer for them also, say, like you say, my retail is not too good. Last week, my rebooking wasn't too good. And I said, all right, so what do you think? Let's talk about retail. what do you think is stopping you to recommending more product? And then you go and you let them to talk. Honestly, once you do a one-on-one meeting really well, you hardly talk. You ask 2 or 3 really good questions, and then the rest, your team member talks, and you ask them to come up with a solution, and then that's going to be the solution. You don't tell them what you need to do. There is a method to it. I know it's not that easy, but you can learn to run a really good 15 minutes one-on-one meetings, and I think it's very essential growing your business. And you're right, Jodie, if you have a quiet time, best time ever to start to nourishing your team, mentoring them, help them to grow, because once they grow, your business will grow.
And the thing is that then they feel like you value them. I think there's a lot of staff out there that really don't enjoy coming to work because they don't feel like they're valued. They feel like that they're just there to make money for the boss, and the boss, just takes it all and doesn't appreciate them, doesn't listen. And like if they do have a meeting, it's fearful and they're just going to be told how wrong they are with everything. So I think learning how to carry out a team meeting so that it's a positive experience and they look forward to coming and having that catch up with you. It's one-on-one private time with you. It means that they build up more and it builds loyalty to you as well. There's more upsides than downsides. I think the only downside is making sure you carve the time out to do it. And like we said, if it's quiet at the moment, it's the perfect time. And then it just becomes a habit because it's booked into your calendar and it's just something that you do.
Yeah, and then this what I wanted to say is needs to be booked in the calendar. You need to be absolutely consistent with it, because once you fail to show up to the one-on-one meeting and you cancel, you just basically subconsciously telling to your team members is not that important.
Mm-hmm.
So again, comes back to us, what we practice in our business, our team will follow. So you need to be very, very persistent about how you're going to do the one-on-one meetings. And yes, I agree, like it needs to be done in a certain way, because it needs to be motivational, it needs to be encouraging for the team member. And you can reframe it like, before you start your first meeting, you will say, this one-on-one meeting is not for me telling you what you are not doing right. It is for us to find where you need help so I can help you and we can come up with a strategy together.
Yeah, that's so important. And it leads into our next 2 topics, but we've run out of time for those today. So we will book that into episode 21. 21. And because these next 2 are actually going to take a pretty big chunk of time to talk about and get into. So we will finish it here. Now, I need to remember, we've got a couple of things, Audrey. We've got our Nexus retreat that's coming up at the end of the month.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's our all about pricing. So if you're ready to do your first step of out of the 5, then jump into this pricing Nexus, because we are going to pull that apart completely. Adriana will spend 2 days giving you all the information you need. It's 3 months worth of coaching in 2 days. It's amazing. And you actually get to do your business budget with Audrey, and then you get to bring it and she'll give you feedback. And she gives you real feedback, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
and then from that business budget, you'll end up creating your price list. Adriana has an amazing calculator that she's created for you, so that you only have to do the big input once, and then you can use it constantly, and it will tell you exactly how much you need to charge, including, the profit and everything. It's the final number, and you can jiggle with it to where you're comfortable, but you know exactly where you are. So that's invaluable. and the hot seats. Adrienne will bring you up onto the hot seats and you can fire away your questions.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and we created this retreat, especially for you to do the work during the retreat. Yes, you need to do a little bit of a preparation, but if you follow everything and if you do everything, our promise is that you're going to finish your retreat with your ready to go price list. And not just that, but you're going to leave this retreat knowing how to implement it. And if someone is questioning your pricing, how to go about it and how to address any objections, or even how to train your team so they feel comfortable about the new prices. So I think it's invaluable. You actually going to, as Jodie mentioned, you're going to do 2 or 3 months worth of work in 2 days, which is focusing purely on your business. And also as a bonus, what we do, we actually go into stress management and a little bit of a self-care because it's very important for us business owners to find that clarity of mind so we can focus on our business, and self-care is should be part of our life anyway.
I think it's I always say to parents, especially, that are similar to me that have special needs kids, if you don't put the oxygen, and they tell you this in the airplane, if you don't put your oxygen mask on yourself first, then you can't put it on anyone else and you can't save anyone else around you. So you must put it on yourself first. And I think it's the same in business, and we forget that. We feel like we have to be the main person that's in there. We have to work the hardest, work the longest. Then we have to go home if, we're carers or parents, then we have to go home and carry that load too, and the mental load from home and the mental load from work. You need to be able to stop and really take care of yourself. Otherwise, you get to the point where I got, and I just threw my hands up in the air. I went, it's all too hard. I can't do it anymore, and I'm not. And, that's one of the, look, it led us to a great place where we are now. But when I had the salon, it was really, it could have been avoided. The burnout could have been avoided if I had have looked after myself and asked for help. So, yeah, I think that's the takeaway.